Does economic inequality matter? If you ask celebrated intellectuals like Steven Pinker or Harry Frankfurt, they'll tell you that no, all that matters is that everybody has enough. But if you think about it, that is ridiculous. Because having a great fortune doesn't just buy you all the cool roller coasters and mansions and all the He-Mans you ever wanted, it buys you power. Like imagine a small society that has about 10,000 people, and everybody makes at least $100,000 a year, except for one person, Beavis, who makes $50 million a year. Now while everyone's out at work earning their $100,000 or $500,000 a year, Beavis has hired an army of lobbyists, and they spend all day, every day, pressuring the government to make changes that Beavis wants to see. So slowly but surely, regulations start to change in ways that give Beavis's companies special advantages. And taxes that affect Beavis start to go down, while taxes that affect everybody else start to go up to compensate. But that can only go on for so long, so services have to be cut. Services that Beavis doesn't use, like public education, public health care, or public transportation. And whether the reason that everybody's making at least $100,000 a year is some kind of government program or just a magical booming market, you can guarantee that Beavis hates it. Because if your employees can just walk out the door and make $100,000 a year at any other job or from staying home and playing video games, you're going to have to pay them more than that to hold on to them. And you're going to have to treat them with respect and give them benefits and good working conditions. Because they won't be afraid of you, and they're going to feel like their opinions and their needs matter. So you know that Beavis is going to do everything in his power to make sure that this situation does not continue. Now when workers aren't guaranteed $100,000 a year anymore, that means that if they do lose their job, they might have to sell their house. And who's going to buy that house? Beavis, because Beavis can afford to outbid anybody on anything of value. So slowly over time, Beavis is picking up more and more houses, and more businesses, and more people are working at Beavis Corp, and living in Beavisplexes, and driving to work in their Beavis mobiles, popping Beavis opioids and paying for it all with their employer-issued Beavis gift cards. Now you'd expect that people would start to get really upset by all of this, and do something to stop it. But how are they supposed to understand all of these slow, complicated regulatory changes, when most of the major media are owned by Beavis? What kind of reporting can we expect on these issues from the Daily Beavis, or the Beavis Post, or Beavis TV, or MSNBeavis? And what kind of editors and reporters and opinion columnists can we expect them to hire? Now in the real world, Beavis isn't just one person. He's the top fraction of a percent of wealthy people and corporations. But scholars who've studied inequality throughout the course of human history have found that just like in Beavis world, inequality just grows and grows until the vast majority of people are living at subsistence level, earning just enough so they can keep generating wealth for the tiny minority of people who own and control most of the resources. And things just stay at that level until there's some kind of giant civilizational collapse, or a huge war, or some kind of massive revolution. The post-World War II era that we've all grown up in has been one of the most exceptionally prosperous and relatively egalitarian periods in human history. But now, after decades of lobbyists rewriting our laws and rigging our markets, we're quickly sliding back down the road to some kind of feudalistic Mad Max Beavis hellworld, which is where we're going to end up soon if we don't do something to stop inequality. And that means not only making sure that everybody has enough, but that nobody has too much. For a more in-depth discussion of this huge topic that we blasted through very quickly, please check out the What is Politics podcast, and my other videos, and of course check out the different books and authors that I highlighted in this video. And until next time, see ya!